Welcome to Inspiring People, the show about inspiring people, those who are inspired and those who inspire others. We all know them. They're good examples, they're supportive, they embrace life, they live inspiring lives in their day-to-day actions, and in turn, inspire others to do the same. Hi, welcome to Inspiring People. My name is Mary Otto, and with me again today, and this is going to be part 2 of my interview with Dee Olson. How are you today, Ann?
I'm good.
And welcome back.
Thank you.
For those of you who maybe didn't get a chance to see the first part of the interview, Anna is sharing with us her experiences growing up Amish and eventually leaving the Amish community. I think the last thing that we had talked about was the fact that you met a goal that you had for yourself. It was a big accomplishment, and that was actually going to college and getting a degree, right?
Yes, it was.
Okay,
yes.
And why don't we start there, and why don't you tell the viewers what degree you got?
In 95, I graduated with a diploma, and then in 2005, I graduated with an associate degree. So that was a real accomplishment for me.
Really?
Yeah.
And an associate degree in a
medical secretary.
Oh, in medical secretary.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And now we're going to talk in this segment. We're going to have Anna share some of the, not so much necessarily only the experiences, but some of the insights that you can share about what it's like to live in an Amish community and then leave an Amish community and the lessons that people can learn. Mm-hmm. So now you're out on your own and you're going to make a life for yourself. What kind of thoughts were going through your head, or what sort of resources were you drawing on now you've changed your lifestyle, and at that point, are you married or not? Are you?
No, I was
Okay.
not married. We got married in 96.
Okay.
And I met my husband in 95, shortly after the first graduation, and he really has been my rock for me as far as having someone to lean on when I needed it. But I've had, quite a couple jobs throughout the years and learned a lot, and I've loved my jobs, so it's just a couple different ones. So.
Okay, and at this point now, you've decided to share your stories. And I know that you're doing some speaking engagements,
yes,
but you're also writing a book.
Yes.
So I want you to tell the viewers something about your book and the title, and then what some of the experiences that you've shared in that book.
Okay, sure. The book title is Growing Up Amish, The Insider Secrets. And it's my journey as I left the Amish culture and came back. Now I'm not back in the Amish culture, but I am talking about it and talking about my experiences. The first book goes from the time I was little, remembering the first things, to about 15 years old.
Oh, okay.
And some of the obstacles that I had to overcome to have the wonderful life that I have today. And I also talk about some of the things what it took for me to change my life. And I just think that there's a lot that you can learn from it. Even though our backgrounds may not be the same, there's a lot that you can learn from that.
Sure.
And hopefully I can inspire other people to change their lives in whatever they don't like or whatever their situation is.
So one of the points that you probably want to get across too is that people don't necessarily have to be a product of their upbringing, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I decided, it was quite a few years ago, maybe 10 years ago, that I was not going to be a product of my upbringing. I was going to change my life to what I wanted it to be. And it wasn't easy, took me a long time, took me a while, but I can teach someone else very much faster than what I learned it. And that's what I'm hoping that I can do for someone.
And as you were writing this, now when you talk about writing, you're talking about literally taking a pen or a pencil or paper, sitting at the keyboard, and you're writing the story, right?
Yes, I am.
Correct? I mean, okay,
yes.
Too many rights in there, but okay. And how was that experience for you as you started to see it unfold on the paper, and your life is coming across now on a piece of paper for others to read?
Well, it was very interesting, and actually it was very, at times it was very tiring. it took a lot of emotion to get it out on paper, but it's also very healing. It's a very healing experience for me, and I just hope that it can inspire others.
Okay, and right now in your life, what is your relationship like with your family of origin? And are they aware that you're writing a book, or?
Some of my family is aware that I'm writing a book, and I've had some negative comments about it. But I don't think they totally understand what my mission is here. I want to share my story, and I want to teach people about the Amish culture, and then hopefully be inspiring for others. I think that they kind of got that they're thinking that maybe I'm trying to bash the Amish. That's not the case at all. I think I have great respect for the people that are still Amish and that live there. It just wasn't my choice. And
are you able to go back home and visit your family, or have you done so?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we usually visit.
Okay.
Sometimes it's an hour, 2 hours, at the most, or something like that. But we do visit, and we have wonderful visits now. I don't know if my parents know about the book yet, but some of my siblings do.
Okay, and their reaction to it was?
They just wanted to make sure that I also talk about some of the happy times that we've had.
Okay.
And we certainly did have happy times and fun times. But it's amazing how some of the harder obstacles stick in your mind versus the happier times.
And I'm thinking the purpose of your book was not to dwell on what you may have, the troubles and things that you had within it, but rather to, as you said, to inspire people.
Absolutely.
To change their lives, or just look at an example of what you've done. And
sure.
And
so as
learn
you
from
read
it.
the pages of that book, you can see how hard it was at one point for me in my life. But look where I am today. It's totally, I have a wonderful life today, and you can too. Absolutely.
Okay. And do you mind would you mind sharing just a little bit about your reaction when you saw what happened in the Amish community when the murders took place, out east and so on? And is that a different, again, for educational purposes, maybe is that a different kind of Amish community than the one in which you grew up, or was it fairly similar?
Well, there's a lot of similarities, but there's also a lot of differences. A lot of the books you read are about Lancaster, Pennsylvania. And I'm not from the East. My dad lived in Ohio, and my mom lived in Indiana before they were married. I grew up in the Midwest, and yes, the rules of our community were quite a bit different than what they were out east. But as far as the shootings in October, that was horrible.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely horrible. I watched it all day when it happened. And I think they did a very good job. They handled it very well. And I just feel for all the families and the victims.
Okay, thank you for sharing that. And what's next now for Anna Dee Olson? What are your next steps in this plan that you're putting together for your life and your life experiences?
Well, I'm hoping, the book will be out next month.
Oh, okay.
It'll be available online at growingupamish.com.
Okay. And that is your website too, isn't it?
Yes.
I went out there and looked at it. Very, very interesting to learn about it.
So if you read the website, give me some feedback. That's how I learn what people really want to know about the Amish culture.
Okay.
And I always have questions. There's people asking me questions all the time. And that's partially what inspired me to share my story and to get to the personal level that I have. But I want to write more books.
Okay.
I want to write more books in the future and teach people how they can change their own life.
Oh, that's just great, Ann.
Thank
you so much for being my guest on Inspiring People.